Breakfast, we now take you to the center of unity, where Shomamo Ibodu and Tijesu Adelye are standing by in Abuja studio for the FCT brief. Inakwana Mutanina, Abuja is over to you.
Thank you, Ria. It's beautiful to be back here again this morning, and you're welcome to FCT brief.
Yeah, good morning, Nigeria. It's a beautiful Tuesday morning.
Well, let's go straight into what we have for you today. The opposition People's Democratic Party is once again in the spotlight as internal tensions deepen ahead of its anticipated national convention. At the heart of the latest controversy is a strong warning from Sule Lamido, who has threatened legal action over what he describes as irregularities in the party's leadership process. The former governor of Jigawa State said he was denied access to purchase the nomination form to contest for the position of National Chairman. Lamido, who arrived at the PDP National Secretariat, Wadata Plaza, Abuja, on Monday morning, was unable to obtain the form, a situation he described as unacceptable and undemocratic. The PDP, once Africa's largest political party, has continued to grapple with leadership disputes, factional alignments, and questions about fairness in its internal procedures.
Lamido's move not only reignites debate about transparency within the party, but also raises fresh concerns about its preparedness to present a united front ahead of the 2027 general elections. Observers say the development could either strengthen internal democracy if handled wisely, or plunge the PDP into another wave of crisis if consensus fails. For many party loyalists, the chairmanship tussle represents more than just a leadership change. It's a battle for the soul and direction of the opposition heading into a critical political season. To help us make sense of these unfolding events, we are joined by a PDP insider who will share his insights on the implications of the various crises within the party. Umar Sani is the former spokesman, PDP Presidential Campaign Council, and he is here with us in the studio. Nice to have you here this morning.
Good morning.
You're welcome.
Your party is in the news again, and just days to your national convention, we learned that Sule Lamido, the former governor and a chieftain of the party, was unable to purchase the nomination form. Why has he been denied the right to purchase form?
Well, Sule Lamido was not and has never been denied the opportunity to purchase forms. Now, for the purpose of clarity and for the purpose of our viewers, the PDP has a timetable leading towards the convention. And the time for sale of forms was supposed to be September 20th. That's when sales of forms began. Yesterday, when he went to Wadata to go and buy form, that was the last date for the submission of forms and not for the purchase of forms. And forms are not sold at Wadata. Forms are sold at Legacy House. That is the campaign headquarters for the national convention of the party. And the person selling the form is the financial secretary of the party and is domiciled at Legacy House. So he went to the wrong place and at the wrong time to go and buy form when it is the time for submission of forms. So his journey, may I also say, is a futile journey.
Would you say that this is sort of a deliberate mischief, or sort of maybe some party members got distracted by the internal wranglings within the party and they didn't, familiarize themselves with the PDP's timetable?
Well, it is not the business of the PDP for anybody not to be able to get acquainted with its own timetable. If you are distracted, why will you be distracted when you have an ambition? You have to be focused on your ambition. You have to go straight to what you want to do. And if you are distracted and then you forgot, and now you are coming back to say, okay, I was cheated. Who cheated you? You cheated yourself because you distracted yourself. So you have to concentrate and understand that the PDP has a timetable, and this timetable is sacrosanct. You have to follow the timetable, and that's why we put everything was dated up to the national convention. The national convention dated 15th to 16th of November in Oyo State, Ibadan.
So is it a deliberate mischief on his part?
Well, perhaps. I wouldn't want to qualify him as such. He's a very senior member of our party. And I don't want to say he was part of the G34, those who formed the PDP. He's highly respected, and, for me to conclude that his actions are mere mischief is to say that I am showing disrespect to an elder of the party.
Okay, let's look at it this way. Sule Lamido is not the only one raising concern. Also, some other chieftains of the party, Samuel Anyanwu, who is the national secretary of your party, and also the national organizing, is also raising concern. Anyanwu said he wants to run in the election, and he is not aware where the forms are being sold. If the national secretary does not know, national organizing does not know. Is it that there is a form of secrecy in the PDP, denying your national organizing and national secretary the opportunity to know where you're selling funds, which you're saying is at our legacy house?
Well, if you have been following the activities of the PDP, especially in the South-South, where Anyanwu comes from, there was a meeting held in Lagos, which was chaired by Governor Seyi Makinde, where they microzoned positions to respective states. As I'm sitting here, I can tell you each state what it was given. Oyo State was given a national secretary. Ondo State was given national auditor. Akwa Ibom was given national publicity secretary. Bayelsa State was given deputy national chairman, South, and so forth and so on. So if, since then, these positions have been strategically microzoned, why would somebody now be coming to say, being the secretary of the party, I don't know anything?
Microzone, is it constitutional?
It is.
In your party constitution?
It is constitutional. Zoning, in fact, Section 7 of our constitution is very clear. It gives insight into how the party should be run, and that every segment and every aspect of the federation should be covered. And so we can now interpret it to mean that we should microzone, so that we can't lump positions in one place. So everywhere must be accommodated. And that is what microzoning seeks to do.
Well, could the decision by these northern stakeholders to adopt consensus candidates have been too hasty, given that figures like Sule Lamido openly disagree, suggesting that this so-called, endorsement might be, lacks legitimacy? Would you say that?
No, there is nothing that lacks legitimacy within our party. There are two ways of nomination within the constitution of the PDP. One is by consensus, and the other one is by election. So if the party elders and the party leaders decide that consensus is the right way to go, then it is legitimate and it is constitutional.
But you just recognize Sule Lamido as the founding member of the PDP. So is his decision or is his opinion not also recognized?
It is not about an opinion. This is a party, a political party is not, a sanctuary of an individual. It is a collection of interests coming together. And this collection of interests, Sule Lamido, for instance, has been a governor, two-time governor of Jigawa State. And as a governor, he has wielded his power at the time he was governor. Now, we have governors who are now governors, who are his juniors in terms of ranking as governors. And they should also be able to exercise their franchise as provided for by our party constitution. So, the fact that they have exercised that right, invited everybody for a meeting. Every stakeholder was invited for that meeting. And in that meeting, a decision was taken. And nobody objected to that decision in that meeting. It was only after they have left. And all the people who are shouting were in that meeting.
They were in the meeting?
They were in the meeting. And in fact, the governor of Adamawa State, Umar Sani, stood up and said, is there any dissenting voice in this meeting? And nobody said no.
Now let me bring you to this. Could this be reenacting the age-long crisis in the PDP. You know, it used to be people who say there is the Atiku faction, there is the Wike faction. Now, Atiku has left your party.
Yes.
Now, Wike is still there. Is it that we're coming back to that crisis where you have some forces who want to entrench themselves in the party, and your own faction also, or your own group, is fighting back and saying, look, let's tactically eliminate some very credible individuals so that we can lay hold on to control the party structure?
Well, let me be very categorical here. Tene Muturaki, SAN, has been in this party for a very long time. And he is not somebody who has been identified with crisis within the party. First, he has never gone for House of Representatives. He never went for Councillor, House Chairman, House of Reps, Senate. He only went for, in 2019, he contested for the presidential primaries. And he lost to Atiku. And he was appointed by the PDP Presidential Campaign Council as the Deputy Director General of the campaign. He was deputy to Bukola Saraki, who was the DG of the campaign. And he worked for the party. He has always been very consistent within the party. The governor saw him as a neutral person. He has not identified with them, neither has he identified with Wiki. So at this point in time, and with the crisis facing our party, we need an independent, neutral person to steer our affairs.
All right, we'll still come back to this conversation, but that will be right after this short break. Grab your coffee. We'll be right back.
Balance Oil. Good food, no worries.
Thank you for staying with FCT Brief. It's back to our conversation. Now, a lawmaker, Ikenga Ugochinyere, has alleged that the PDP is now being manipulated by elements loyal to the APC, citing threats of defection over the screening of a nominee linked to Governor Peter Mbah. Is the PDP truly losing its autonomy to external influence?
Well, you know, this is a conglomeration of a lot of interest within a political party. I cannot stand for everybody, but I can also be very categorical on this, that the PDP is rooting into the right path, the path of reconciliation and reabsorption. We are not after making wild allegations, you know, because these are things that are embedded in somebody's mind. It is somebody's intention, what he is planning to do. You can't be following someone to be able to know whether he has been meeting with APC or he has not been meeting with APC. What we know is that once you profess to be PDP, your actions should justify that you are a PDP person. The reason why the minister of the FCT, the PDP, is very wary of him is because he is alleging double loyalty. First, he is saying, I'm a member of PDP. And if you are a member of PDP, you are supposed to abide by the code of ethics of the PDP. Then you say, in 2027, you know, on the mandate I stand. So where do you stand?
Okay, the allegation she just, my colleague just talked about, you know, Peter Mbah was in PDP until recently when he decamped to the APC. So it is said that he had somebody he was supporting. I think they said the position of national women leader. And if that is the case, what is your party going to do if really this individual had his support before he defected? Is it that the man who propped up this individual still had that candidate retained by your party? Or is your party going to have a second look at it?
Well, this is not about Peter Mbah or about who he supports. One of the reasons why he left the PDP, to the best of my knowledge, is that he wanted his person to be the national secretary, which is Mr. S.K.E. Okwe. And so when he could not muster to get the National Executive Committee, NEC, of our party, to endorse that decision, because INEC insisted that Anyanwu must be the signatory that will call for such a meeting. And so the only way the PDP will call for a neck meeting was to now bring back Anyanwu, So he felt, humiliated. And it is one of the reasons why he's leaving. If he is supporting somebody, which means his body and soul is within the PDP, but that only his body temporarily moved to the APC. Perhaps his support may or may turn out not to be this, but of what significance would that support be? If he has a woman leader within our party, he is not contesting for any primaries within the party. So how would that affect the PDP? It will not affect the PDP in any way. In any case, the woman leader will not only defer to him, she will have other people within who will support her to be able to get that woman leader position. And so if she cannot get it, it means he has failed in his own quest. But I don't want to believe that that is the true situation of things. These are mere allegations, and I should leave them at where they are, as mere allegations.
Many people will wonder, how did the PDP, once Nigeria's dominant political force, descend to this level? Was this, and I'd like to ask, was this breakdown inevitable given that the party's history of power rotation disputes, or it's simply a failure of leadership to enforce discipline?
Well, it is not merely only the failure of leadership. It is also the coming into force some meddlesome interlopers who believe that they own the party, and they arrogate to themselves the power to do whatever they want to do within the party. And so if you insist not to follow the rules as laid down by the party, then naturally the party will descend. Now, let me give an example to buttress my point. Now, it is within the PDP constitution that if a person is a member of the National Working Committee or a state executive committee, and is going to contest for an election elsewhere, he has to resign. He has to resign. He has to give 30 days notice, perhaps, in which case, or 3 months notice, in the case of somebody who is not a member of the executive committee. And then you have to resign before you go and contest. Here we had somebody who is the national secretary of the party, who refused to resign, went and contested for governorship, lost, and returned, and said he's still the secretary. So these are some of the things that are making supporters believe that there is lawlessness in the party. Otherwise, if this has been enforced, there will have been nobody who would now have seen himself as somebody who can say, okay, the party cannot move without me.
But I think events have long overtaken that, because the case went to the court, and the court ruled that Anyanwu is the national secretary, which means that convention or that party guideline does not suffice, because the court ruled in his favor. My question now is that you believe in.
I want to correct you.
Okay.
The judgment did not say that Anyanwu is the national secretary. There is nowhere in the judgment. It only says that the person who brought the case before the court is a meddlesome interloper, that he is not supposed to be the one to bring the matter because it does not affect him directly. It is SKE Okoye who was looking for this, but he was not the one who brought the matter before the court.
So, but technically, Anyanwu remains the national secretary.
Yes, okay, but the court didn't make that pronouncement.
Okay.
But on that matter, still, the court said such a matter is not justiciable. It's an internal party matter.
Okay, let's move forward. The other issue is the conspiracy of silence, because some people say that some of you who now speak of for the party, where were you when the situation started in Rivers State, when some persons defected from the party and the party leadership did not make the move to confirm that defection? and now you're now making statements for the party. Was it that you also were in support of what was playing out at that time? Because that was like the root cause of the crisis in PDP. You kept quiet then, but now you're speaking. How will you react to that?
How can you draw such a conclusion? Have you been following my activities? How do you know that I have not spoken? I have been the most vocal person within the party. And let me tell you, I will advise you to follow me on my X handle. I'm not advertising my X handle, but I will advise you. This is the same thing somebody asked me. When I asked him to go to my X handle, he was ashamed. He couldn't continue further. So such an allegation is very weighty, and you don't judge somebody merely because I have been speaking and I have been very vocal and I have been against injustice within the party.
Well, the PDP's upcoming convention remains mired in court challenges. This raises fears it could make or mar the party's survival. Why has personal ambition repeatedly outweighed collective interest in the PDP?
Well, you see, in terms of a political party is mired by collection of interest, and this collection of interest generates into the collective direction of the party. Now, if some interests decide to merge, to say, okay, this is our own interest, the interest of the party, that defines the interest of the party. And if it defines the interest of the party, the interest of the party means that the party at all times should be seen to be pursuing the party's agenda and manifesto and abide by the constitution of the party. Now, if you say personal interest supersedes, there is no way that personal interest cannot come into party activities. But then, what does the law say? That is where the constitution of the party or the guidelines for an election come into play. They now give direction.
Okay, ahead of the national convention of your party, what character of individual do you expect that will emerge as leaders of your party going forward? What are the conditions you are looking at that, okay, these are the type of, whether it is consensus, whether it is a true election, that we hope to have this caliber of individuals that will lead our party into the 2027 election?
Well, we want individuals who will look at the party, who will look at the interest of the party, those who we believe will be able to give party the needed direction so that we can be a very vibrant opposition, and give the ruling party the needed push, and perhaps maybe even be able to wrestle power from the ruling party. And they should be people who are strong-willed, humble, and have the interest of, the generality of the party at heart. Now, if we have such type of people who will not look at somebody's interest and be pursuing that type of personal interest above the general interest of the party, then we will have a strong, united, and vibrant party.
Well, 2027 is just around the corner. Do you foresee an exodus of PDP governors and lawmakers if this internal turmoil persists, especially with the APC appearing more united and resource-driven?
Are you sure that the APC is united?
Well, compared to the PDP, some might argue that it has his house in order, and since it's having influx of some of your members into its party.
Yes, momentarily. But let me say this, that in politics, there is what we call alignment and realignment. Now, people move because of different reasons. Some people are moving to APC because they want to contest. Some people are moving to APC because they want protection. Some people are moving to APC because they have something they want to achieve within the party. Once they cannot achieve those things, then you will now see a reverberation. Then there will be exodus. People will now be living in mass drops. Some people want to go and get contract. They have been promised some contract, which they feel they will get, and then when they go back and nobody gives them that contract, they believe, no, then why am I staying here?
So because you foresee an implosion within the APC? That is
what I'm even saying in a nutshell, that the APC will lose most of its members to the PDP.
That is if PDP survives.
The PDP has already survived. Because if we have reached this stage where we are even talking of our national convention, then survival is not an issue. The issue is how do we manage our success, after the convention.
It's a fine place to leave the conversation. We'll definitely keep our eye on the PDP to see how it's able to put its house in order before 2027. Thank you so much, Sani Umar, for your time with us on the program. It's a pleasure speaking with you.
It's my pleasure being on TVC this morning, only that I haven't been given any breakfast.
You are in that.
You'll get it after now.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you for being a part of our conversation. Now we'll hand you over to Lagos, where Ria and the rest of the team are standing by to continue with the rest of the show.
All right. Thank you so much, Abuja. TJ, so he was waiting for his breakfast.